Hello friends, welcome to another video. We are doing this Windows DAX function series. In today's video, we are going to explore new DAX function called window. Let's get to Power BI and take a look. In the previous video, I will post the link of that video in the description of this video. We looked at the offset function and how to work with the blank values to get the previous row. In this video, we are going to explore, can we get the previous row value using the window function as well? So let's start writing the measure. So let's call this new measure window previous row. We're going to try to get the same previous row functionality which we did with the offset function. So what we're going to do is calculate sales and then window. This is the new function. So it has parameter from type, to and to type, whereas the offset has only function. The first parameter is index, which is value minus or negative or positive to go to the previous rows, how many rows you want to go to, or positive is how many next rows you want to go to. In this one, this has a range starting and ending, and then also the type. So let's first look at the from. How does the from work? So what we're going to do is we say from one, and default is relative. There are two options in the type, which is absolute or relative. So the default is, if you don't give this, again, these are the optional parameter values. So you can, if something is in square brackets, of course it's optional, so we don't have to give that. If we don't give it, then it is relative, but for now let's we write the function. So we put the value, so one, position one relative, and then again we go position one relative. This is from, and this is to, and then again the next one is always a relation, basically, which is a table. And if we don't give a table here, then it will use the one used in the order by and the partition by. But I'm going to use the table. Again, we will use the same one, summarize all selected sales. And to understand why we're using summarize all selected sales and then filtering on the color, do check out the previous video on the offset one. And then we have the order by. Order by will be, of course, color, and we don't have anything. This blanks, the next parameter is optional, and it is still not fully implemented. The default value is keep, and we can skip this as well. And the partition by, we don't need to use that because we don't have anything to do partition by right now, but we will, in the coming video, we will look at the partition by as well. So I'm gonna finish this here. So let's show the value of this new measure window previous row, and let's understand what we are getting the value here. So when we use the one relative, so what means it is positive. So at this row, I'm gonna remove this offset previous row for now. So what we're getting is we are getting the next row value. So one and from and two is the same value. So we are getting the 233.6, but actually we should change it to -1 because we want to take the same example as offset. So -1. So it should give us the same value what we have in the offset row. So yeah, here you go, 92336 109. So previous row, this is working perfectly fine. Now we have the same result as the offset. So basically what does that mean is we can use the offset to get the previous or next row, or we can use the window function -1 window function to get the previous row, next row as well. And now the question is why you will use windows over offset. We will look into the future example, but I think before we go further, let's look at what the -1 absolute will do. So if we go in the -1 absolute, so change the parameter absolute, So what does this means is now we are getting this value 49978,175. What does this means is, so as you can see, this is the last value in all the colors. So the last value is yellow, so 497. So minus went to the last row in the order by the color what we have given. So if I change it to +1, we are getting the value of the black color because that is the first one. Now keep in mind, does not matter where we are in the color. Right now this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth. It is always giving us the value of the first color in our order by a condition column we have given. So it's order by color, so we are getting the first for everything. So absolute means it is not changing, it is always giving us the value, does not matter, also giving us the fixed value, doesn't matter where we are in the color. So -1 goes to the last value. If the start range and end range from and to is the same, we are getting the same value and fixed value for everything. It is not changing. As compared to the relative, the value is changing depending on where we are in the position. So now the question comes is why I will use this offset. Let's say if I go -1 and -1 and I go relative and relative, so this gives us the same value as the offset previous row which we previously did in the previous video. Let's bring that in here as well just to compare the values. So we have the offset previous row, the same value. So the question is why we will use one over another. Of course, if we just want the one relative value, if our goal is just to get the relative value and the fixed position we have, let's say previous -1 the previous row or -2 previous two rows, then we will use the offset. But if we want the range of the rows, let's say I want to see, I'm at this row and I want to see the sum of last 3 rows and compare against that, or average of last 3 rows and compare against this, then we will use windows because it will give us the range. So let's change this to, let's see, if we want last 3 values and compare against the current value, then what we can do is, because it's a from, we are giving it a minus, so minus will be in this case -3 to -1. What does this means is when I'm at this row, at the multi row, -1 is blue, -2 is black, and there is no other color beyond that, so that will be just the 2 rows. So let's see what does this value look like right now. So here you go, when we are in the previous row, in this case of blue, -1 is 9, the black color, but there is no -2 and -3, that's why we are getting the same value as black. But when we are in a multi, what we're getting, blue is -1, black is -2, and there is nothing -3, and then we are getting the sum of 905 plus 2, that is 11. So when I'm at the NA, what I'm getting, the -1 109, -2 black, which is blue, and -3 is 9 million. So basically blue, black, blue, and multi is, that's the number we are getting, and here we are getting NA, multi, and blue. So like for example, if right now I'm using the sales, but let's say if it was an average, we will able to get the average and compare against NA. Whatever measure we will use it, we will get that value. So this can be very, very useful, where offset will be used if we have a really one position we want to move. Let's say -1, -2, or -3, or +1, +2, +3. But the window function will be very, very helpful when we want a range. We want to define the how far back we want to go, and how the range we want to select. And also it will be really useful when we want it to be used as the fixed value as well, because we can put the from and to type 2 as an absolute, then we will get the fixed value of that position, doesn't matter what row we are at. So this is very, very powerful, and in the next video we will look into the window function, how this can be used to calculate the running total. Do subscribe my channel for more videos on these new DAX functions and how powerful they are. Until next video, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.